So I'm here in my flip house and I have to install a new subfloor down in the kitchen here. You can see these are plank flooring, original tongue and groove oak flooring. And what we had here was a layer about an inch thick of about 5 different floorings that were laid down over the years on top of each other. It took forever to get this up. There were a million staples going into this oak flooring. You know, that stuff holds on to the staples pretty good. You can see it's a total mess right now. So I want to show you a good way to get a solid subfloor so you can lay down tile or laminate flooring, whatever, any type of flooring. How I'm going to do it, I'm going to start off by going through this and making sure I pound in all the staples, rip them out, all the nails that are in here. Let me show you this register here, what's going on with this over here. So this register over here, they had it was a return register which was taken out when they installed the high efficiency furnace, so it's non-functional anymore. And what they had done with the flooring originally, they literally laid a piece of 1/4 inch plywood to cover up this entire hole. And when I first got in this house, I stepped over here, you know, my foot almost went through the floor. It was the absolute worst subfloor job I've ever seen. What I have here now, I'll have to go down in the basement and show you just a piece of particle board I cut out to fill this up. Let me go down the basement here. So here's where I filled this up, down from the below here. I'm gonna have to cut those screws off or something because they're too long. But basically I just nailed, sistered essentially some 2x4s here to these joists. I left the original flooring intact to the joists and then ran this. You can see, if you notice up top, it didn't fit quite well. This was already to length. I didn't cut short. And then I also just went ahead and put some pieces across here. I'll paint all this white, cut those screws off. And another good thing to point out is, see how this was notched here? This joist in the middle. What I did is I laid down a bunch of PL Premium adhesive, real thick on there. And that stuff dries so hard that it will actually take up this gap and support that. However, I will also probably sister another 2x4 right here to make sure it's really supported really well. But it's just to show you what that PL Premium adhesive will do. It's very good stuff. So a little adhesive talk now. Up on the top here, we got this PL Premium I was just telling you about. This is some pretty serious adhesive. You can see there's a piece here that chipped off of it, that dried on the end. Once this stuff dries, it's rock hard. It actually expands a little bit because it's a polyurethane based adhesive, but it's very, very rock hard. It will support, you know, this is the only thing holding the middle of this up, or not even before I put those 2 pieces in. I mean, it's rock solid. Now for regular stuff where you're not trying to fill up gaps and stuff, this is much more affordable. They got these giant tubes of this regular subfloor adhesive, and you get more than twice the amount in this than you do out of one of the little ones, and a lot cheaper too, way cheaper. This is like less than $5 for one of these. One of those alone is almost $5. So for your general subflooring applications over rough surface like this, you absolutely need to use an adhesive. There's absolutely no exceptions. You'll get all kinds of squeaks and bumps, or, you know, squeaky subfloor if you don't. So at this point, making sure all the staples and nails are pounded in the floor. I'm actually just going section by section. So the 4x8 piece that's going to go over here, I made sure all the nails and staples are pounded in over there. And I'm going to sweep up that area and lay that piece down first. Just give me a nice starting point. So I got that section of the floor cleaned up and swept, and when I was going over it with the shop vac, it let me know where there's some more staples and stuff that I had missed. So I pounded all those in. Now I'm test fitting my first piece here. What this is actually the most warped one out of the bunch. You can see it's got that. This is a 1/2 inch pine plywood. This is like a 5-ply. What this is an Arauco brand, Arauco. It's a really good quality plywood. You don't have to use plywood that nice for a subfloor if you don't want. Honestly, If it's a wet area, kitchen or bathroom, you really want to use a plywood. If you're doing bedrooms, living room where it's not so wet, you could probably get away with particle board or OSB. Probably OSB is better than particle board, to be honest. But either way, this is a pretty good plywood I'm using, although this is the most warped one out of the bunch. But I do have a problem here. My room's not square. Let me show you. So test fit in this first one here. You can see, we're up all the way there. We're up all the way there. We got a nice big gap here, and I think that's a little too much because of the trim and stuff. I don't think it's going to cover that up. So what I'm going to do to fix that, I'm just going to take a little off this way. Just put a little angle on that. Get this back in there a little bit. And I'm not really too concerned with it being totally square, although I should really be starting at the most complicated parts, which is where I got to notch all these. But I'm going to probably fill that panel in. I'm going to check for my squareness here and see if that's going to be a problem. So where this panel is at right now, with it being not exactly square with the room, well, because the room's not square, I'm going to check roughly up to here. We're at 22 5/8 or so. Check over here. We're at about 23. So let me think. If I turn my panel this way, that will actually make it more square over here. So exactly what I was gonna do. If I notch that out, it'll turn my panel this way, and that will actually help me out. Because technically right now this panel's crooked. So I need to go by this wall. Because that's the straight one, quote, straight one. So all I did here was I put my plywood square straight up to this wall over here, because I know that's what we're going off of. And I found a straight edge, well, a 2x4. I'm going to use it just to trace a line and get me that angle. So there's that. Oops. You can see the angle we're kind of going for. Now I don't have to take that much off, but it just got me what I'm going for there. I'm going to use a T-square to transfer that so I don't waste that much material. And that's kind of what I'll cut off with the circular saw right there. So where I filled in this register hole, my particle board, my 3/4 inch particle board, is ever so slightly shallow of the rest of the floor. So what I'm going to do is use the PL Premium to fill up this gap. This stuff is really good, dries rock hard, and I mean this is like a 1/16 of an inch, if that. So this will bond me very good here. This is a tube I was already using. Let's see, there's a dry piece on the end, I'm sure. Get rid of that. Go ahead all around the edges here with a nice fat bead. I got my sheet of plywood standing up against the wall. Got my giant caulk gun with the subfloor adhesive. Gotta get that off of there. Gonna see what kind of damage I can do with this. enough adhesive, I would say. Okay, so at this point I'm going to, good thing I didn't screw that up, because this is where my top needs to go. Here's a part where I'll surely get some hate comments, and that's okay, because I'm using drywall screws. Yes, I am using drywall screws. If I wasn't using adhesive, I would never use drywall screws for this. I would go out, buy some quality screws. But with all this adhesive, these are pretty much clamps, you know? Once that stuff dries, it's all this stuff, these screws are just in there. Fast forward a lot here, and here's where the subfloor is at. Pretty much done. Let me show you. After that big piece I put in that I showed you, I cut a piece to go in over here. Then another piece, I staggered him. It's very important. Let me get rid of that light. I don't know if you can see. You gotta stagger the pieces. It's very important. Don't ever put 4 seams up against each other. So I staggered. That means I had to put a little piece in back here, but that's fine because some cabinets are going there, so it's not really getting walked on there. And I had to fill in a couple spots back here with a little piece. Had to fill that in the way I ended up doing it. Lots of glue. It's very solid. The stove is going there anyways, and the way I ended up doing it was over here. I had to fill in a little spot too. But again, tons of glue, screwed it down flush. And I have this over here. What I gotta do now is I'm gonna take these door stops off here, because there's no longer doors here. So I'm gonna take those off and then put a piece here to where I'm gonna have a threshold. Same over here, take these door stops off. There's no longer doors here. I'm gonna put another, just cut a little piece in here, glue it down to where I want my threshold to be, which will probably be about basically at the end of where those stops are. And then I gotta just cut a piece to finish off this top going to the basement. So if you follow what I did for that first piece, for everything else, it's pretty much self-explanatory. And I had to cut out a jigsawed out of this full 8-foot long piece here. I had to jigsaw a vent for the heater and just cut away some places to slide under the pipes here that are coming up. That's all going to be covered with cabinets. It's not really that important. It's very solid. There's no creaking at all when you walk on this, and it's very solid over here where I covered up, filled in that spot as well. Very solid. So it turned out very nice. Whoever is going to buy this house is going to be really happy with the floor. When you walk around, there's no creaking at all. It's very solid. Got that 1-inch oak tongue and groove underneath here with a 1/2-inch plywood glued down to it. Nice and solid.